Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and this is my prediction for what I think is going to be in the next episode of Star Trek Discovery based on what we saw in the promo footage of the next episode, as well as all the things that were established earlier. And from what we saw in the promo, it appears as if the USS Discovery will be attacking a starbase which is said to be the headquarters of Section 31, and it appears to have a big minefield all around it. And the mines are called blade mines, and it appears as if they're kind of like the shredder mines in the movie Battleship, and they appear to be attacking Discovery and kind of shredding its hull. So I suspect the USS Discovery will be attacking that starbase, which is the headquarters of Section 31, and also we have that female admiral from Season 1 on the bridge of the Discovery, and apparently she's helping the Discovery attack that starbase. And yet earlier in this season we saw that she was basically giving orders to Section 31. So the question is, why is she suddenly helping the Discovery? I guess she probably has some information that puts her against Section 31 at this point. We also see that robot lady who apparently got reprogrammed or possessed by those probes from the future, and she is seen fighting some of the members of the Discovery crew. And also in the previous episode we saw what the Red Angel showed to Spock about the apocalyptic future in which all life is destroyed in the galaxy by some kind of fleet or swarm that looks very similar to that probe that we saw from the future. Also, I want to point your attention to something that was said in the previous episode about Section 31 getting instructions from some sort of AI which predicts what's going to happen, and they follow this AI's advice. And Giorgio even mocks that idea and says that in her universe the AI followed her orders and not the other way around. So I think that might be another important clue about what's going to happen. So here's my wild theory about what might happen next. I suspect that AI which was mentioned might be manipulating Section 31 without their knowledge. Maybe it's basically like Skynet in the Terminator movies. Maybe it's an AI supercomputer that became self-aware. Maybe it's plotting to destroy all of humanity in the future, but for now it needs to set the stage to put all the pieces in place a very long time in advance. Maybe it's able to predict the future using very advanced softwares, sort of like what Bashir did with those augments in Deep Space Nine. They said they are able to predict future events with very complicated calculations, and so it's possible that an advanced AI is also able to predict the future and maybe try to manipulate the future. So I suspect that it might be revealed that that AI became self-aware and is planning to take over the galaxy in the far future, and for now it's basically manipulating Section 31, getting them to do its bidding to prepare the way for the future for itself. And we also heard in previous episodes that Section 31 actually killed Michael's parents. So maybe that is something that AI instructed them to do, maybe because it could foresee the future in which Michael will be the one to defeat this AI, and therefore it wanted to kill Michael in the past before she becomes the danger to it. And so maybe that's why Section 31 tried to kill Michael as a child, and only thanks to the Red Angel Michael was actually saved in the past. And so maybe the Red Angel is basically thwarting the attempts of that future AI to take over the galaxy. And so I suspect it might be revealed in the next episode that this AI, which is sitting in that headquarters of Section 31, if they figure out that that is the same danger that we saw in the future, that swarm of probes which are destroying all the planets, maybe they are controlled by the same AI in the future, and therefore they decide to destroy this AI in the present to prevent that future, and that's why they're trying to destroy the main starbase of Section 31. And if they show that information to the Admiral, then of course she would be willing to help them, and so that's why she's helping them to destroy that starbase of Section 31. And so this is basically a similar story to the story of the Terminator movies, an advanced AI in the future which wants to destroy all life, and it tries to manipulate the past to save itself in the future, but the humans in the past can also prevent it from ever happening by destroying it in the past as well. And so that's my theory, that's what I think is going to happen. And I think they probably are going to succeed in destroying those headquarters of Section 31, also because it was mentioned later in Deep Space Nine that they have no headquarters, and so I'm pretty sure they will blow it up in the end of the next episode or maybe one after it. but they might reveal that even though they destroyed that main computer, maybe the AI programming already spread to other parts of the galaxy, and so it's not over yet, and it will still become that threat they saw in the future, and so they have to keep fighting it and to destroy any remnants of it. And of course it will all tie with the Red Angel, because the Red Angel is the being which saves the galaxy from this AI threat in the future, by doing the opposite of what the AI did using Section 31. So if the AI tried to kill Michael, then the Red Angel saves Michael. And I don't actually think that it's going to be Michael. I think that would be too obvious. And also it wouldn't really make sense, because if Michael died originally, then how would the Red Angel be in the future to be able to save herself in the past? And so even though we can say it's non-linear, it's a predestinational paradox, still I think it's a bit too messy. I think it would be more clever to have it be a different character, and it would make more sense in my opinion, and also it would be much more unexpected and much more surprising. And so my money is on Giorgio, because I doubt it will be anyone from any other Star Trek shows, and I doubt it will be a character that we don't know already. So most likely it will be a character that we know from this show, and my money is on Giorgio. I think she is going to turn out to be the Red Angel, and not Michael, which would be too expected. And I don't think we have a lot of other options, maybe Tilly, but most likely I think it will be Giorgio, for lots of reasons. First of all, she implied already that she knows something about the future. She said in an earlier scene that Michael is going to be very important later. I suspect she might know that because she read the files of the USS Defiant. That is a ship from the future that arrived in the mirror universe, and Giorgio knew all about it, so it's possible that she has the information about the future in this universe from that ship. And also she knew about Section 31 killing Michael's parents. And also it seems as if she's on a redemption arc. She's becoming nicer, she's helping out Michael. And since she will have her own series, apparently they're doing a spin-off Section 31 series, so if she's going to be a main character, then they have to redeem her somehow. And so I suspect that's going to be the twist in the end of the season. Also, I think because she's from a different universe, she's the only person who is not affected by any changes in the past in this universe. Meaning, no matter how many changes she does in the past, it will not prevent her own existence. Maybe it might prevent her coming into this universe, but probably it's not as bad as preventing someone from getting born at all. And so I think she's the perfect candidate to be this time traveler, because she is much more protected from the changes of the timeline, since she's from a totally separate universe. And also because she personally cares about Michael, it would make sense why she saved Michael in the past, and also maybe because she knows that's the only way to save this galaxy in the future, since she saw the future in which all life is destroyed by this AI system, and maybe she knows the only way to stop it is by saving specific people in the past who will be important later in stopping it. And also this will all probably tie with that short track we saw in which the USS Discovery is in the distant future. I suspect it will probably all tie into this story as well. Maybe that will be kind of a cliffhanger in the end of the season. So I predict someone will get stuck in the distant future. Maybe whoever the Red Angel is will lose that technology and get stuck in the future, and in order to get back they will need to use the USS Discovery and its port drive. And in order to get the ship into the future, the crew will evacuate from the ship, and they will leave it somewhere unfindable, so that in the future whoever the Red Angel is will be able to board the Discovery and to travel back in time. And so I'm guessing something like that will be done in the end of the season, or maybe as a cliffhanger, something strange like that, in which the ship will have to be abandoned till a later time. And maybe they'll even do a time jump to the future. Maybe after all of this is done, maybe the timeline will be changed again, since Michael got saved in the past by the Red Angel and she was supposed to die. So maybe all of what we've seen in the show has been taking place in a separate timeline, which would explain all the differences from the other shows. It would explain why Spock never mentioned her in the old Star Trek shows, since if she did not exist, if she died as a child in the original timeline, that means everything we've seen in this timeline in the show is different from how it was supposed to be. So let's imagine if Michael never grew up, then maybe she never started the Klingon War, and so everything we saw on the show would never have happened. And maybe Section 31 would never have become an official part of Starfleet. Maybe this only happened because of the Klingon War, because Starfleet was so desperate. That's why they made Section 31 an official arm of the Federation, and that's why it has its own ships and all of that. So maybe in the very end of this season they will go back and fix the timeline so that all of this never happened. They could do an ending sort of like in the movie Butterfly Effect, in which the main hero, this is spoilers by the way, the main hero in that movie kind of sacrificed his own life or his own happiness, depending on the version of the movie you saw. He sacrifices himself to save all his friends and everyone he knows after he realized that it was him who caused all their trouble in the first place. So by removing himself from the timeline, he basically saved all his friends. And so I suspect something similar might happen with Michael, and maybe in the very end she will cease to exist having died as a child, or maybe she will come back in time herself to try to save her parents after she finds out Section 31 killed her parents in the past, probably at the behest of that AI system. After she finds that out, maybe she wears the Red Angel suit and she tries to save her parents. And if she succeeds saving her parents, that means she never got adopted by Sarek and never met Spock and never hated the Klingons, and therefore probably not started the Klingon War or ended it early instead of killing that Klingon leader. So maybe she captured him, and because she didn't have that hate for the Klingons, she didn't kill him, and so the whole war could have been prevented. And then Section 31 never became an official arm of Starfleet. It never got funded as much, and maybe it never developed that AI system, which is the big danger in the future. And so this way Michael might be able to fix the timeline and prevent all these bad things from happening. But maybe she will not disappear from the timeline, meaning she was somehow protected from the changes in the timeline, and so she would still have all the memories of everything that happened. And maybe the entire ship, the USS Discovery, somehow jumps into the future with part of its crew, probably without Pike, but the rest of the crew might jump to the distant future, and maybe in the next season and after that, the whole show will be set in the future instead of the past. And that would mean the timeline will be safe from any more contradictions, since if they will simply skip all the other shows into the future, which is what the show should have been in the first place, they will avoid further messing up the old continuity. And so I think if they do this, it might actually be a very neat way to solve all the continuity problems they created. And also it will be an interesting time travel story, kind of convoluted maybe too much. But if they do it well, I think it might be great actually, so I wouldn't mind seeing what I just suggested. So my prediction for the next episode is that they will succeed in destroying the headquarters of Section 31, but then it will be revealed that that AI system exists in much more places than just that starbase. Maybe it infected a lot of computers in Starfleet, and so they will have to find a different way to stop it. And as for the robot lady that appears to be infected by the same AI, I'm guessing they will somehow defeat her in the end, and maybe use her to defeat the AI later, to develop some kind of antivirus against this AI Skynet thing, and so this will probably play into it later. Maybe we can say all of Starfleet will have to do a major purge of all their AI systems. Maybe that will explain why all the computers seem so primitive in the original Star Trek show. Maybe they deliberately downgraded all the computers to ensure that that nasty software will not be able to exist in their computers in order to save the future. Maybe they will install a deliberate limitation to all the Starfleet computers to prevent this evil AI from ever existing later. And so this will actually explain a lot of problems with continuity. Why are the computers in the original Star Trek show appear to be so primitive? So I actually would love it if they explain it somehow, using this story of an evil AI kind of like Skynet, and the robot lady I guess will be cured from it. I would love to hear some background, how she became a robot, where is she from, what is she exactly, is she a cyborg or what? It was never explained, so hopefully they will finally explain her story in the next episode, and maybe probably will use her to find a way to defeat this evil AI. But I suspect in the very end, in the last episode of this season, the only way to truly defeat it will be to change the whole timeline in which Michael's parents never die, and she never gets adopted by Sarek, she never meets Spock, she doesn't hate the Klingons, and she doesn't start a war with the Klingons, and Section 31 never becomes as powerful, and this AI system never gets developed in the first place, and maybe they will still give the necessary information to Starfleet Command to warn them of this potential threat, and because of that they will downgrade all the ship's computers to prevent this sentient AI from ever being developed, and only then the future will be saved, and the USS Discovery will somehow get stuck in the future And maybe in the next season the crew will somehow get back to the Discovery, but they will be stuck in the future, and the show will carry on in the future. Maybe they'll get lost like Voyager or something like that. They will not be in the Federation anymore. And so I think that would actually be kind of cool. And so that's my opinion, that's my theory. Let me know what you think in the comments below and we can discuss it. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.